Finland is often described through simple images: snowy forests, thousands of lakes, saunas, clean cities, and a society that regularly appears near the top of global happiness rankings. But behind that calm reputation is a country shaped by difficult geography, powerful neighbors, war, neutrality, and rapid modernization. Officially the Republic of Finland, it is a Nordic country in Northern Europe with about 5.7 million people. Its capital and largest city is Helsinki, a coastal city facing the Gulf of Finland. Finland's story is not just about being peaceful or prosperous. It is about how a relatively small nation, positioned between Sweden, Russia, and the wider Baltic world, built a strong identity and a highly developed society while repeatedly adapting to pressure from the outside. Geography is the first key to understanding Finland. The country borders Sweden to the northwest, Norway to the north, and Russia to the east. To the west lies the Gulf of Bothnia, and to the south the Gulf of Finland, with Estonia across the water. This location has made Finland both connected and exposed. It is part of the Nordic region, but also sits on the edge of the Russian sphere. Much of the land is covered by boreal forest, a vast northern ecosystem of conifers, wetlands, and cold-adapted wildlife. Finland is also famous for its lakes, with more than 180,000 recorded across the country. These lakes are not just scenery. They have influenced settlement, transport, livelihoods, and the Finnish sense of space, a country of water, forest, distance, and seasonal extremes. Finland's climate reinforces that northern character. In the south, the climate is generally humid continental, with cold winters and relatively mild summers. Further north, conditions become boreal, with longer winters, shorter growing seasons, and dramatic changes in daylight. In Lapland, the far north, winter can bring extended darkness, while summer brings the midnight sun. These conditions helped shape a culture that values practicality, preparation, and closeness to nature. Historically, farming was challenging in many regions, and people relied on forests, fishing, hunting, and later industry to build livelihoods. The environment could be beautiful, but it could also be unforgiving. That tension between harsh conditions and deep attachment to the land is central to the way Finland understands itself. Human settlement in Finland began around 900 BC, after the last ice age. As the ice retreated, people moved into newly habitable landscapes, following waterways, forests, and animal migrations. During the Stone Age, different cultures appeared, often identified by distinctive styles of ceramics. These early communities were not isolated from the world around them. Over time, during the Bronze Age and Iron Age, contacts increased with other peoples across Fennoscandia and the Baltic region. Trade, technology, and cultural influences moved through networks of water and land. Long before Finland became a state, it was already part of a Northern European exchange zone. Its later history would continue this pattern, local identity shaped by constant contact with larger neighboring regions. From the late 13th century, Finland became part of Sweden following the Northern Crusades. This connection lasted for centuries and left a deep mark on Finnish institutions, religion, law, and language. Christianity, especially in its Western form, became firmly established. Swedish governance tied Finland to the political world of Scandinavia and the Baltic Sea. Even today, Swedish remains one of Finland's official languages, alongside Finnish. The Swedish-speaking population is a minority, but historically influential, especially in administration, education, and coastal regions. This bilingual foundation is important. Finland is not simply Finnish-speaking in a narrow sense. It is a country whose national identity developed from multiple cultural layers, including Finnish, Swedish, Northern, and Baltic influences. A major turning point came in 1809. After the Finnish War, Sweden lost Finland to Russia. But Finland was not absorbed as an ordinary Russian province. Instead, it became an autonomous Grand Duchy within the Russian Empire. This arrangement gave Finland a distinct political and administrative position. Under Russian rule, Finnish institutions developed, and a stronger sense of national consciousness gradually emerged. The 19th century also saw Finnish art, literature, and culture flourish. The Finnish language gained status as intellectuals and artists worked to define a national identity. In a paradoxical way, separation from Sweden and autonomy under Russia helped Finland imagine itself as something more than a frontier region. It became a nation in formation. The Russian Revolution of 1917 opened the door to Finnish independence. With the Russian Empire collapsing, Finland declared itself independent. But independence did not immediately bring unity. In 1918, a civil war broke out between the socialist Reds and the anti-communist Whites. The Whites won, and the conflict left deep wounds in Finnish society. In 1919, Finland's status as a republic was confirmed. This period matters because it shows that Finnish democracy was not born without conflict. It had to survive internal division at the same time as it was building new state institutions. Over time, Finland managed to stabilize and develop a parliamentary system, but the memory of civil war remained an important reminder of how fragile independence could be. Finland's democratic history also includes a remarkable achievement. In 1906, before independence, it became the first country in Europe to grant universal suffrage. Even more striking, it was the first in the world to give all adult citizens the right not only to vote, but also to run for public office. This was a major step in political equality at a time when many larger and older democracies still restricted participation by gender, class, or property. The reform reflected growing pressure for representation and modernization in Finnish society. It also foreshadowed values that Finland would later emphasize: civic participation, equality before the law, and broad inclusion in public life. Democracy became not just a system of government, but part of the country's international identity. World War II tested Finland's independence more severely than almost any other event. Finland fought the Soviet Union in the Winter War, beginning in 1939, when the Soviet Union attacked. Although Finland was vastly outnumbered, its resistance became internationally famous. The war ended with territorial losses, but Finland remained independent. Later, Finland fought the Continuation War against the Soviet Union, and then the Lapland War against Nazi Germany. The outcome was complicated and costly. Finland lost parts of its territory to the Soviet Union, but unlike many countries in Eastern Europe, it retained its democracy and sovereignty. This experience strongly shaped Finnish strategic thinking. Survival depended on realism, military preparedness, and careful diplomacy. During the Cold War, Finland adopted an official policy of neutrality. This was not passive isolation. It was a careful balancing act. Finland maintained democratic institutions and a market economy while managing a long border and a sensitive relationship with the Soviet Union. The goal was to avoid provoking a powerful neighbor while preserving independence and links with the West. This position required diplomatic discipline and became a defining feature of Finnish foreign policy. After the Cold War ended, Finland moved more openly into Western institutions. It joined the European Union in 1995 and the Eurozone in 1999. These decisions tied Finland more closely to Europe economically and politically, while reflecting confidence in its post-Cold War direction. Finland also changed dramatically at home. Until the 1950s, it remained largely rural and agrarian. Then the country pursued rapid industrialization and built a Nordic-style welfare state. This meant expanding education, healthcare, social protections, infrastructure, and public services while developing an advanced economy. The transformation was not instant, and it required political compromise, taxation, and long-term planning. But over time, Finland became known for high living standards, strong institutions, and a skilled workforce. Its education system gained global attention, not simply because of test scores, but because it emphasized teacher professionalism, equality of access, and trust in public institutions. The modern Finnish model rests on the idea that broad social investment can strengthen both individuals and the economy. Today, Finland consistently ranks highly in measures of happiness, prosperity, education, economic competitiveness, and quality of life. These rankings do not mean Finland has no problems, but they reveal the strength of its institutions and social trust. Finnish cultural values often emphasize egalitarianism, secularism, human rights, environmentalism, and international cooperation. With Finnish and Swedish as official languages, and with a history shaped by Sweden, Russia, and the wider Nordic world, Finland's identity is both distinct and layered. Its foreign policy has long reflected its role as a middle power, valuing partnerships and international forums. After Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Finland made another historic shift by joining NATO in 2023. For a country long defined by neutrality, this was a major strategic change. Finland's story is ultimately one of adaptation, from Ice Age settlement to Swedish rule, Russian autonomy, independence, war, neutrality, welfare state success, and now a new security era in Europe. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.